Greetings, CAD Basics. This is David Bertram. I am making this video to assist with the class's brick pattern assignment. I am here showing some examples of past student work. I'm going to go over a couple different things in this video. First, I'm going to show you some past student work of varying qualities. I'm going to walk you through Canvas very quickly to show you where things are, and then we will jump right into CAD and go through this, okay? Let me start here in Canvas. So somewhere in your Canvas you should find CAD resources, and I am going to be using the key commands. So you should come here and download that, okay? And oh, just to note, I'm going to make this video quickly. I'm not going to be repeating myself. If I repeat myself like I might in class, I end up making like 45-minute videos and it gets kind of annoying. So bring your earbuds to class so you could listen to this and expect to pause it and maybe listen to it, watch it 3 times. Because especially when I get into the CAD commands, it's going to go quickly. Okay? So bring your earbuds. And don't get frustrated, just expect to watch it twice, at least, okay? And then when you get to the CAD part, pause, play, and work at the same time is the best way to do it, okay? So earbuds for class. I will come here, you should come here and get these AutoCAD key commands if you have not yet, okay? And that looks like this, AutoCAD key commands, and I will return to that when I get back to CAD, okay? So get that, and then here's our assignment, and the assignment is actually inside the CAD file, the DWG file right there. So you need this DWG file, which you'll open in AutoCAD, and that'll look something like this. It will not have this. You're gonna have to. This is what you're going to be drawing, but it should have these just 2 blank boxes and no work in it. Okay, and that's the DWG file, and then there are 2 PDFs here, and they look like this. They are basic introductions to brick bonds. They have the shape, the sizes of bricks. I'm just going to go over this stuff in CAD. It talks about how brick walls are built, and all around historic Philadelphia, especially where we have actual old structural brick buildings with these really thick brick walls, these patterns that we see, let's see if I can zoom in here a little bit, these patterns that we see, big brick, little brick, these are structural and really important. And the historic ones are, genuine. Now they might mimic them, but they're not actually genuine structural ones. So they come in all different names. They're called bonds, B-O-N-D, stretching bond, heading bond, English bond, English garden wall bond. So you could go to Google and look up traditional, I don't have it here. Look up traditional brick bonds and you'll find a whole variety of them, or these PDFs will suffice, okay? And I'm not going to go over that any longer. And then here's another one with, this is a very technical kind of document talking about the different ways that you could face a brick outside so it's seen. So this is in our materials class. You'll learn more about this. You don't need to concern yourself. We're going to have a simplified dimension for our bricks, but you should follow my dimensions. Don't just make up dimensions because it gets messy. Okay, it's easy for it to get messy, but there's a lot to brick design, masonry design, and this is only touching the surface of it. And it's a great CAD lesson, more importantly, or of equal importance, it's a great CAD lesson. Okay? So that is everything. This is where you will submit it. Okay? That's everything that you need. Key commands. All right, let's keep moving. And I'm going to show you some student work. All right, so this is the best way that we could really communicate what our expectations are. and I have A plus here, solid A. Here I am, hold on a second, there we go. Here I am, here we have B work, C work, and not passing work. Okay, so you got the whole gamut here. I'm going to talk about how these things look. So when you come to CAD, here we are in CAD, and I believe what your template should look like is getting rid of all of this stuff. It's just going to look like that. And this rectangle and this rectangle are the borders of your pieces of paper. When I'm down here at the bottom, my video, there it is. My video is in the way of my paper space. So down across the bottom are the two pieces of paper that you print from, and then here we are in model space. Okay, so this is where we draw in model space. And here is your name, and it'll say Brick Patterns, CAD Basics with Fall of 25 and your current professor's name. So that is the title block, and you will draw right here in this piece of paper. And I'm just going to draw in some dimensions as a just to show quickly. So that's my drawing, and these dimensions on the side, which you don't really have to look at, I'll show you other ways to do that, how to center things up, but this should all be equal. Everything should be nice and equal and properly centered. Okay, how I would do it if this was my piece of work, I would grab it in the middle, move it to the middle, and then I could just kind of bring it down, and I'd call that nicely centered. Okay, and then when I come here to paper space, there it is, nicely centered and ready to go. So I work. This thing is, sorry. Here we are back in model space. Okay, so we saw what that looked like in paper, and then here it is in model, nicely centered. Okay, so back to the student work. This is nicely centered. Okay, we see the borders, we see the name, nicely labeled, appropriate size text, the space between them, nice and equal spaces on the side. I don't care what the dimensions are, it's equal, it looks great, and that's, I'm sure, centered right there. And this space is, or this space, the height of that space is a little more than that, which is fine. So it looks great. Get rid of all those marks. So on the page, it looks great. And then when we review, this is the running bond, the standard running bond. All the spacing looks right. The borders are nice and cut nicely. Here we get to the garden wall bond, and she's incorporating the smaller ones. But again, all of the spacing looks the same. The pattern is consistent. I don't know running bond offhand. You know, I might go check it if I have concerns. I might check it in Google. But to be honest, it's you know, if there's an error, that it would be pretty small, I think. She obviously knows how to use these commands and lay out a nice clean piece of paper. So that's, you know, an A+ job. This one, so now she's doing it in two different pieces of paper, and that's fine. And I kind of like how she cut the bricks away and put her name down there neatly. It's really tight on the paper, so it's kind of an odd way to show it. But for a first assignment, it's not a big deal. You know, when we get into further assignments and floor plans and things, you would never like hug the borders so tightly. So it's a little odd in that regard, but it's still A work. It's, you know, for a first assignment, it's really nice. The little space up there is the same as the space down there. And when I zoom in, all the spaces between the bricks are nice and neat. And all of the center of the grout line or the mortar line is centered right on that brick. So A work there too. Now this, this has some issues, right? This has a huge space here that doesn't look good. This piece of text is over on the left. This one looks good. This one's capitalized. That one's not. This looks good. Drawing looks good. I see a little line there. We're going to talk about those little construction lines. Construction line. So he copied these construction lines all down there and then he didn't erase them. So that's not good. But generally, I could see that he understands and has, this is good. You know, if I just had that, I would say this is a work. But there is much more to the story. And when I look in here, this all looks good as well. Well, the spacing is neat. I don't know this bond either, but that center line is all nice and neat. You know, when I run straight down there, everything is stacked nice and neat. Okay, so that's good. But due to this bad page layout and this down here, I would give this about an 80%, which has it. That's a low B, Yeah, definitely. This is at best a low B, kind of a C. This doesn't have titles. This is not really required, was not asked. It has the same problems, right? It's just not laid out well, but this one actually has deeper problems. When I really zoom in here, I see that the spacing is all wrong. Uh-oh, that's really problematic right there. Things aren't touching, things are touching. These spaces look correct, but then it didn't translate here. So there's a lot of copying and pasting. That's basically what this is about. So I see open spaces at the bottom, open spaces at the top. So it's completely inconsistent. So the student did not understand the commands and couldn't finish it neatly. So now we're moving down to barely passing work. There was an effort, but it's not. The student is going to struggle with all the projects coming up because these basic commands were not understood at this point. So it's really important, if this is what your work is looking like and you're not able to get this consistent, you must talk to your instructor ASAP. You can't let these problems go on because while, you know, we don't do cumulative tests, it's if you don't get these foundations, you will not succeed in the latter projects, and it just piles up quickly. So this is model space, actually, what this student printed. So here we are in model space, where we draw, as opposed to the paper space where we print. So this student didn't even make it into paper space. This student kind of gave us a shot right from here of everything that they had in model space, including this big white void, including my cheat sheet. And then when I zoom in here, there is nothing to look at. I mean, there's a pattern, but it is clearly, I mean, you can't view it and it's all wrong. So this is an F. This is